The maw of the Leviathan swallowed Gabriel whole. Darkness wrapped around him like a serpent, coiling and constricting, pulling him down into the abyss. There was no sensation of falling, only the weight of eternity pressing against him as he passed through the gullet of the beast. Through layers of reality, twisted and contorted by the fall of those who once stood beside him in heaven, a distant roar rumbled through the void. The Leviathan's breath, a tide of sulfur and decay. Shadows slithered through the air, taking form and dissolving before his eyes. They whispered in tongues older than time, mocking, tempting, threatening. Gabriel did not falter. He pressed forward through the tunnel of unholy flesh, feeling the pulse of hell itself in the walls around him, until the tunnel gave way to fire and stone. And then he emerged. Hell stretched before him in all its wretched splendor. The sky was a burning scar, vast and endless, streaked with black smoke that rose from the pits below. A blood-red sun hung suspended in the heavens, though no true light shone from it, only a dim, oppressive glow that bled across the landscape. The ground beneath him was cracked obsidian, glowing faintly with molten veins that pulsed like the lifeblood of the damned. Before him lay the southern kingdom, a land of smoldering ruins and twisted spires. Towers of black iron pierced the sky, their surfaces slick with the ichor of unknown creatures. The air was thick with the sounds of chains, clanking, and the distant wails of the tormented. But most unsettling of all were the eyes. Hundreds, thousands of eyes. The imps of Gap had gathered. Small, wretched creatures with leathery wings and jagged teeth. They lurked in the shadows of the crumbling structures, their red eyes gleaming with malice. Some pierced upon rusted iron fences, others clung to the skeletal remains of towers long collapsed. Their skin was stretched too thin over their bones, their claws clicking against stone as they shifted. As Gabriel stepped forward, they began to snicker, their voices a chorus of contempt.
Look at what has wandered into our domain. A winged fool of heaven dares to walk our lands. Perhaps Gap will take his feathers as a price.
Gabriel did not acknowledge them. He had been given strict instructions. Do not speak, do not answer, do not waver. The throne of the Demon King Gap loomed in the distance, a fortress of iron and bone, carved from the ruins of a forgotten war. The king himself, towering figure, wreathed in shifting black mist, stood upon his dais, his many eyes narrowing as he watched the angel pass. But Gap did not interfere. He knew Gabriel was not here for him. With a single, powerful beat of his wings, Gabriel lifted himself into the air, ascending beyond the reach of the snickering imps and the scheming demons below. The southern kingdom shrank beneath him, its cursed ground fading as he pushed forward towards the north. Across hell's sky, Gabriel flew for what felt like an eternity. The air of hell resisted him, pressing against him like unseen hands trying to drag him down. Below, the landscape shifted. He passed over rivers of fire, lakes of blackened souls clawing at the sky, fields of broken swords where the echoes of long-forgotten battles still rang. Demons of all kinds took notice. Winged horrors washed from their perches, their reptilian eyes gleaming. Some flew alongside him for a time, testing him, measuring his presence, but none dared to strike. Gabriel was marked, his passage decreed by forces even they would not challenge. The sky darkened as he neared the northern kingdom. The air grew colder, thick with an unnatural fog that clung to the land below. Great spires of black stone jutted from the earth, like the ribs of some long-dead titan. Lightning forked through the crimson clouds, illuminating the jagged peaks that surrounded his destination. At last he saw it. A mountain, taller than any structure in hell, its peak hidden within the swirling storm above. At its base stood the entrance to Ziminar's temple, a fortress carved into the very flesh of the mountain itself. Its gates were sealed with ancient symbols, ruins of infernal power that pulsed with cold fire. Gabriel descended, landing softly upon the blackened ground. Before him the temple loomed, a doorway into the unknown, into the domain of the Demon King Ziminar, the one who held the key to Duodel, the abyss where Satan ruled from the shadows. The path forward was set. With silent resolve, Gabriel stepped towards the entrance. The throne of the damned. The gates of Ziminar's temple loomed before Gabriel, ancient and vast, carved from obsidian stone that pulsed with an eerie, unholy glow. Infernal ruins slithered across its surface like living things, whispering in tongues older than mankind. As he stepped forward, the massive doors groaned open, as though the temple itself acknowledged his presence. Inside, darkness swallowed him whole. The air was thick, heavy with something more than heat, more than sulfur and smoke. It was desperation, suffering woven into the very walls. A putrid stench rolled over him like a tide, the unmistakable reek of sex, blood, and rot. Gabriel's golden eyes adjusted to the dim light, and what he saw before him was horror itself. The hordes of Ziminar. The temple stretched into a cavernous abyss, its ceiling lost to the shadow. Black pillars lined the hall, their surfaces writhing with tortured faces. Souls bound in stone, their mouths frozen in silent screams. Along the vast chamber, a demonic army stood assembled, a host of horrors beyond mortal comprehension. The Cambions were the first he saw, half human, half demon, their bodies grotesque, fusions of flesh and nightmare. Some bore wings like falling seraphs. Others had jagged horns curling from their skulls, their eyes pits of molten fire, their bodies radiated power, each one the cursed offspring of demon and mortal, bred for war and sin. Among them slithered the succubi and incubi, creatures of lust and torment. Their skin shimmered with unnatural allure, their movements serpentine, their touch laced with an insidious hunger. The very air around them was thick with the remnants of their conquests, moans and whispers, the echoes of endless perverse rituals. Beyond them loomed the jinns and el-shayateen, spirits of fire and chaos, their ethereal forms flickering between the seen and the unseen. Their laughter crackled like embers, their eyes burning with the fury of the forgotten. Then there were the druids, the dark priests of hell, robed figures with hollow eyes, their skeletal hands raised in silent invocation. They were the keepers of the unholy rites, the orchestrators of hell's rituals, their chants weaving through the air like a suffocating fog. All of them turned to stare at him. The snickering of imps in Gab's kingdom had been one thing, but this was an army of darkness, and they did not laugh, they snared. They bared their fangs, they clenched their claws, and whispered their curses. They hated him. The fate of the damned. But beyond them, in the heart of the temple, lay something far worse. In the center of the chamber, a great pit stretched wide, filled with the wretched souls of the Forsaken, those who had made deals with hell, the ones who thought they could bargain and walk away, the ones who thought they could control the darkness. Their screams rose in a deafening chorus, drowning the whole in agony. Medieval torture devices lined the pit, the rusted metal slick with blood. Some souls were stretched upon racks that never broke them, but only twisted their limbs in endless agony. Others were impaled in iron spikes, kept alive by unnatural forces, forced to feel the weight of death without release. A massive, brazen bull sat at the edge of the pit, glowing red-hot, its iron doors swinging open to reveal a human figure inside, burning alive but never consumed. The scent of their short flesh mixed with the filth of the temple, a never-ending cycle of torment. Gabriel felt it all. Their suffering, their regret, their endless cries for mercy that would never come. And yet this was only the beginning. The throne of the usurper. At the far end of the temple, upon a great throne of bone and brimstone, sat not Zeminar but another. Baal, the demon king of kings, the first monarch of hell. His 3 heads shifting as he gazed upon Gabriel with burning ancient eyes. One head was that of a toad, bloated and grotesque, his throat pulsing unreadable expressions. The second was a great feline, its golden eyes flickering with malice and amusement. The third was human, a terrible mockery of divine creation, its lips curled into something between a smirk and a snare. Baal's massive form was wreathed in a cloak of darkness, his 6 arms resting upon the throne like an emperor awaiting tribute. He executed authority, a force as undeniable as the pull of gravity. Gabriel did not speak. He had expected Zeminar, but in hell nothing was as it seemed. The chamber was silent. Baal's feline head licked its lips. His human face grinned, and then he leaned forward, his many eyes narrowing.
So heaven finally comes knocking at my door.
The cunning of kings. Baal's voice slithered through the chamber, like a slow-moving flame, curling around every syllable, every breath, as if savoring the weight of his own words.
standing in the halls of my kingdom. Tell me, Gabriel, does it wound your pride to be here?
His toad-like face croaked with amusement. His feline eyes gleamed with a predatory hunger, and his human lips curled into a knowing smirk. Gabriel remained motionless. He had faced creatures older than the first sin, had spoken with beings whose voices shattered stars. Baal's games meant nothing to him.
I have not come to entertain you, Baal.
Gabriel said, his voice steady.
You know why I'm here. Open the gates of Duadel.
A deep, rumbling chuckle echoed through the chamber. Some of the lesser demons flinched. They knew their king's mirth could turn into cruelty without warning. Baal tilted his massive head, his many eyes narrowing.
You demand much, Archangel. You step into my domain, walk my halls with the arrogance of your kind, and expect me to grant you passage without tribute? Without conversation? That is no way to treat a host.
His words were laced with mocking civility, but Gabriel remained unmoved.
This is not your domain, Baal. I was sent to see King Zeminar, not you.
A shadow passed over Baal's human face, his smirk thinning.
Oh, Zeminar. You speak of him as though he still sits upon this throne. As though his will commands this kingdom.
Baal leaned forward, resting his massive hands upon the arms of his throne.
Tell me, Angel, does heaven still teach its warriors nothing of history, or has pride blinded you all?
Gabriel's gaze did not waver.
Speak plainly.
Baal laughed again, but this time there was an edge to it. He gestured to the temple around them.
Zeminar was sealed, Archangel, bound in chains by the great King Solomon himself, during an age when mortals still dared to grasp at the power of gods and demons alike. He was cast into an abyss far from here, where his voice has not been heard in centuries.
Gabriel remained silent.
Do you think I would sit upon another's throne unchallenged?
Baal continued, spreading his 6 arms in mocking grandeur.
Do you think the legions would bow to me if their true ruler still stood? No, Gabriel. The southern kingdom is Gat's. The north is mine.
The demons in the chamber murmured their voices, slithering like dry leaves on stone. Some grinned, their sharp teeth glinting in the dim firelight, enjoying their king's amusement.
You have wasted your journey.
Baal mused, resting his chin upon one of his many hands.
Turn back. Return to your golden city. Tell your god that his message will never reach the morning star.
The demons laughed, emboldened by their king's arrogance. The sound slithered through the chamber, scraping against the walls like claws on stone. But Gabriel did not move, did not react. The laughter died down. Baal's feline face twitched, his mirth slowly giving way to something colder. He did not like silence, not when it came from an opponent who should be wounded by his words.
You are an unshaken one.
Baal murmured, more to himself than anyone else.
No fear, no pride, no anger.
His toad mouth let out a wet croak.
disappointing.
Gabriel finally spoke.
Your kingdom means nothing to me. Your throne is dust and your words are wind. Open the gate, Baal.
The room grew still. For the first time, Baal's amusement flattered, a slow, seething frustration coiled in his many eyes. He had expected arrogance, or indignation, or even vile contempt, but not complete indifference. The Archangel was not playing his game. Baal exhaled, long and slow, a sound like a distant growl. He reclined in his throne, tapping his fingers against the bone armrest.
Fine, Gabriel. You will have your wish.
With a single motion, Baal raised his hand and clenched his fist. The entire temple trembled. The gates of Duadel. The chamber darkened. Shadows slithered across the floor, racing towards the far end of the hall, where an enormous wall of black iron and brimstone stood, a gateway older than hell itself. Infernal chains rattled against the stone, coiling and twisting as they unbound themselves. Symbols flared to life, glowing with an eerie blue-white fire. The very air trembled as the seals, long untouched, began to break. The demons in the hall recoiled, backing away instinctively. Even the Camions, the Jinns, and the El Shayateen knew better than to stand too close. With an earth-shattering crack, the gates of Duadel began to open. Beyond them lay nothing but blackness, a void so complete it devoured light, sound, and even time itself. The air that rushed from within was thick with something ancient and forgotten, something that had not tasted freedom in a millennia. Baal turned to Gabriel, his smirk returning, though this time did not reach his eyes.
Do not say I did not warn you, Archangel.
Gabriel stepped forward, his wings unfurling as lightly as the darkness of Duadel stretched before him. Without hesitation, he walked through the gates, and the abyss swallowed him whole.